Coach, you kind of mentioned after the duel, but is Chandler going to be back this week?
Chandler will be back.
He'll be back.
Yeah, yeah, he'll be back. Likely we'll wrestle. We will probably suit up Weigel and see how he's doing. But Chandler will be a go this Friday.
With all the injuries that you have had, some returning All-Americans, just what challenge has that presented, trying to shuffle out the weights and make sure people can get down if they need to?
Well, we've done a pretty good job, We're going into our last 3 duels and we're 12-0, so you give credit to some of the guys, Dakota Gear and Jacoby Smith, those guys bumped up and they may end up having to stay up, just because of the rules. It was good to see, through the year, it was good to see that we could still win, and you don't get that every year, I've had years where, this kind of injuries, you lose 5, 6, 7 dual meets, just because you can't replace what you have, we've been kind of fortunate that a lot of good Oklahoma kids, we got a lot of good Oklahoma kids, so let's keep getting them.
Schomer's mentioned on Sunday that he expected it to be Chandler out there, and it was kind of a last second. You made the decision. What was behind that decision?
Just one more week. Okay. We knew that if some things happened down low that we were going to maybe have to wrestle him. And I think after Wyatt won and we won the first 5 weights, I felt like we definitely were going to pick up another win somewhere. And so it made it a little easier. Let's hold him another week and let him get one more week. He was mad. Yeah, he was upset at me, which I like. So you like him to want to be out there. He was ready to go, and he was upset that he didn't get to go. That's okay.
You talked after Friday night that you're kind of ready for those guys that were out.
Yeah. I've been waiting for him.
You think he kind of got the message?
I think he got the message, and sometimes maybe I intimidate him. I don't know as they come. Maybe they feel like they're not supposed to do that. But I'd rather have it. Guys just like I'm ready to go, Coach. I got to go in.
So then, if Chandler's going to be back at 157, what's the plan?
Well,
there?
we got to make some decisions. The one thing about the NCAA rules is, I think I told you all last week that you qualify the weight by your body of work during the season, and if we have an individual that qualifies the weight, which likely Wyatt Sheets is probably going to come out. I don't know how he couldn't come out ranked in the top 20 this coming week. He's the only guy that we would probably have that would be ranked in the top 20. Therefore, that's an automatic qualifier for that individual. If that individual does not wrestle, you lose it. So a lot of it's going to be based on that. We got to kind of watch and pay attention. We got some rules that maybe we need to reevaluate. I think everybody is, especially over the years, have implemented some of these rules, and we thought it was for the good of the sport. But there's some of them right now that I think we could even help our sport, help student athletes have that same opportunity to go to the nationals. But right now, like that weight class, we're going to have to put the guy that qualifies for the weight.
Weekend.
You do understand what I mean by that?
Yeah, I got it.
So when you go to the conference meet, we have 12 wrestlers at each weight, and at 157, there's 3 automatic qualifiers. So you have 3 automatic qualifiers at the Big 12. That means that somebody can take those. So anyone that finishes in the top 3, you took that qualifier. But let's say the kid that actually qualified the weight, he wasn't one of those top 3. He also goes. So now we get 4. So, we could have I've seen it where we've had 3 qualifiers and we ended up taking 5 guys, so you got to be a little careful not taking those guys, which we could do this year. If somebody's right at the end, we move someone down a weight and he hasn't been wrestling there. He hadn't qualified the weight. He's got to go in and steal one. So
This weekend, you got an Air Force team that doesn't have any ranked wrestlers. What do you want to see from your guys going up against that type of competition this weekend? Is it more about stretching out points, getting that opportunity this weekend?
yeah, I mean, it's really not falling asleep this weekend, right? I mean, not with our weight or with the intensity. It's not an off weekend. They do have a couple kids that will challenge, but yeah, it needs to be a big scoring opportunity for us, and hopefully that will come. The Air Force in the future is going to be a lot better than where they're at right now.
Kind of a boost is it getting a guy like Chandler back?
It just kind of depends on what he does, right? Not in this particular match, but he's a senior, and I do like that he responded to my comments to him. That I was really concerned, of where his mentally, where he was he go off in the sunset and with his wife and call it a day, or are you coming back and fighting for a championship? I've had the seniors that just kind of said goodbye, but I think he wants a little bit more than that, and I'm glad that he's kind of showing that. Yeah.
You've talked over the last couple of weeks about guys that bring energy. He seems like he's one of those.
Yeah, he does. He's probably career-wise, probably the most skillful wrestler that takes people to their backs that I've ever coached. It's a good thing, but it's also kind of been a negativity because when he goes full matches, he's lost a lot of them. Sometimes you don't get to wrestle full matches, and if you're careful, I've seen him where he's had 5 pins in a row, and he's wrestled a total of about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. You're like, ooh, that's not very long, over a 3-week period, but he's exciting. Everybody likes the pin. It's like throwing the bomb in football. It's like shooting a half-court shot in basketball. The pin is the ultimate.
Well, and he's a guy who's been willing to take some risks. How tough is that to try to coach him and not to hold back, but also to make sure that he's wrestling smart?
Well, you just got to be. Yeah, he understands that he needs to focus on his takedowns. 2-point takedowns are big. We can take a lot of people to their back, but there's likely the guys that you're going to have to beat to be All-American. You're going to have to beat them on the scoreboard, and maybe not. Most likely, yes. And if you're thinking that way, then you're probably thinking properly. If you think you're going to go out and pin them, it's probably not the best thought process to take to practice every day. I need to wrestle 7 minutes. I need to wrestle hard 7 minutes. I might even have to be ready to wrestle a 10-minute match if I go deep into overtime. So being ready for that's real important.
Mentioned all the kind of difficulties of working out lineups, and I imagine when you're undefeated, that's a pretty good problem to have.
Yeah, it's good. We'll be tested. Missouri and Iowa, both teams. Both teams will give us a little bit more of an idea as we go down. I really like the fact that we do have our toughest opponents at the end. Regardless of what happens, we're going to get something from it. we're going to go, whoa, you know, hey, we're not where we need to be, or we're going to be feeling pretty good about our place, you know. So the one thing about wrestling is that hopefully you got guys that are competitive enough and got enough grit in them that, you know, if they go out and have a poor match or recognize that, hey, I'm not where I need to be. We got 4 weeks before nationals after our last match, you know. So that's a good thing, you know, and wrestling tough teams. Tom Brands and I scheduled that match last year for that reason. Give us a little bit more judgment of where we're at, and instead of wrestling early January, let's move it to the end. And at one time, that's what we used to wrestle at the end, Iowa versus Oklahoma State, you know. So it was nice to go back there, and it was his idea.
I know Chalmers and Gear, you know, may or may not be in the lineup down the stretch. What those two guys meant to the program coming in?
Oh man, what great kids too. Just you know, just hard workers. You know, taking risk, moving out here and taking that opportunity. They'll be with us for a long time. With Gear being a sophomore, you know. But I wouldn't count either one of them out. You know, the only thing with Somers is he made a choice a couple of weeks ago. He was beat up a little bit. His weight was getting to him. You know, almost to the point where he wanted to walk away from it, and said, no, we're not doing that. Let's take the time off. Let's move you up and let you enjoy some food for a little while. Anyway, you know, so he's probably thinking about that thought. He's probably thinking about, you know, that choice he made. Doesn't mean he can't maybe get in the lineup, but with Gear, you know, we didn't have much choice. You know, he made the move for a guy that you know, has not been here very long. He was pretty committed to making the move up for the team, and you know, just a lot of respect for me. You know, and he does a lot for us. You know, the guy's a hard worker. If you ever want to watch someone train on a daily basis, he's pretty consistent, and you know, born and raised on a farm and milked cows his whole life, and you see you know, that work ethic in him each and every day.
Speaking of losing weight, I heard you had a couple of basketball players that came and asked you for some help earlier this year. What do you remember about that?
They're all just coming in. They wanted to know how to lose weight, and I said, well, you know, take some understanding to be able to do it. But jump in that steam room for now if you really want to lose some weight. I said it won't last long till you get on the scale, but if you need to weigh a certain weight, you know, get in here for a little while and then go get on the scale and you'll be lighter. So if there's a certain weight that you need to meet, but for long term, that's not going to do you any good. You're going to have to diet a little bit. So I think they were looking for the quick thing. And they lasted about 6 minutes in the steam room. Not very long.
The story was they came in one of your camps. Is that what
Yeah,
happened? How
yeah.
many kids do you think were out there whenever they came and found you?
You mean student athletes?
Yeah.
Or wrestlers?
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, I think we met right here in the hallway when I was coming out. They were a little bit worried about where weight was, and I'm thinking, is coach putting you on a weight restriction or what? I guess that's what it was. They were having to weigh in. They were getting a little bit heavy, and I'm like, well, I'll show you a couple of little tricks, but this ain't going to last for a lifetime. You know, you're going to have to do it a little better than this. Because I don't know, they were a little bit lost, tell you the truth. So I think I helped them, but it was definitely short term.
You guys good.
Okay.